Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan.
Yeah, we're finally getting around to working on this old Green Lantern tank, huh?
Yeah.
A few days ago, you guys saw a video about us talking about some new fish we added to this tank and the fact that we were going to be rescaping it. We also talked about Tommy's tanks and all kind of other great stuff. However, in real time, it's been like a month since we actually made that video, hasn't it? We've just been really busy. We do a lot of videos ahead of time, so you know, we kind of like keep the videos flowing, but sometimes there's actually a lot of real time in between those.
All YouTubers do that.
Yeah. So it's actually been a while. You can see it's evaporated quite a bit now since that other video because, again, we didn't want to bother filling it because we want to clean it. One of the things we're going to be doing is cleaning the outsides of these penthouse things. We haven't really cleaned them. They're starting to get some dry water marks and stuff like that. And by leaving the water down, we're actually just going to like wipe them down. And then when we fill the water back up, it'll come up past that water mark, and then that's all we really have to do. We don't have to clean the insides because the snails and everything clean them, right? The plecos, the snails, and all those things. So that's not really necessary. So we're going to start kind of working on this. We're going to take you guys through what we're going to do and take down these. Let's show them real quick, the vortexes, because that's it. We're going to take them out like we talked about in the last video. So we'll show you guys them real quick, and then we're going to take them out. Okay, so there's one of the vortexes there. They are, look at that Priscilla, first of all. Wow. I mean, that is one of the new Priscilla glowfish we talked about in the last video. I mean, he is just unbelievable, isn't he? There's one of the Candy Cane guys. Anyway, there is, and there's the longfin. So that longfin is in between the glass hurricane that we put around it. So that we could take them out and clean them without disturbing the gravel. And it has worked out quite well. But anyway, that's the whole vortex thing. Here's the one on the other side. And again, they did work out pretty well. Not exactly how we wanted them to. So we're going to take them out. It's definitely a cool idea. It was a great experiment, right? I mean, it was a total experiment. And it was fun, and it was awesome. And as far as we know, nobody's ever tried it. We've definitely never tried it before.
It was fun to do.
Right. And we're certainly going to revisit that in the future, but do it on probably a larger scale. So we're going to take those out too, and all of the stuff that supports them. Obviously, that mixer situation is way up against the bottom of the glass, and you know, that's all supported by these bricks and buckets and everything like that. So we're going to clear all that out of here, take the vortexes out. These little plant guys are going to come out too. We haven't decided if we're going to leave the hurricanes in there. We might, and then add even more under gravel lights. So we may do that. We'll decide. Let's start getting this stuff out of here, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there's the mixers. We got those out, and they were really small. Like we said, this was just an experiment. We don't spend a lot of money, but we're going to take them out. We're going to maybe use them for something down the road. We'll see. There's all the new stuff that's going to be going in there. Lots of glow plants and glow lights and color changing lights and all that. We got the buckets out of here, all these bricks. We forgot, as we're pulling all of this out of here, Jack's like, wow, I forgot how much it took to get those, you know, guys to stick all the way up to the top. Isn't it something? So here, this is how this worked. There's the pill, and it stayed in the middle there. And turned so we could get the vortex. And the outside part, we had a larger hurricane so that the fish could go in there and clean it off, but so that we could take this middle area out without disturbing the gravel around it and clean it and then put it back in, which we only had to do a few times. But anyway, that was the whole theory. All of that's going to come out because we're going to be putting those new big, huge plants there in front of these old sponge filters here. Well, old sponge filters that were new to this tank. So we're gonna get all that stuff out of here. Now, I did want to show this because this is one of the things Jack was saying. Look at these glasses here that we had these plants in, and look almost all the way down to the bottom. See right there? Our little tiny baby trumpet snails. And this is why, yeah, when you have trumpet snails in your tank, it stays so clean. Now, the nice part is these cories, since they got bigger, have been eating the trumpet snails, But of course they can't get the tiny little baby ones because they're way down deep. So we don't have any big trumpet snails in here. They're keeping our population under control, but they're eating the larger ones, which I was not aware that Corys did. I have not had Corys in many years, and I never really had them with small snails. So it's kind of neat because we don't actually see or notice the trumpet snails because they're all these tiny little baby ones, right, dude?
Yep.
So there they are. You can see they're in this glass as well.
They are really small.
They're so tiny, but they just go through and clean everything. They clean the penthouses. They go all the way up there and clean those. They clean. Look at the inside of this penthouse. I mean, it's so clean. We never had to clean it in a whole year. They just go through. Now the plecos do as well, but these guys get down into that gravel. I mean, look at how deep they are in there. They go down there, they clean these glasses. I mean, we've never cleaned this glass ever in a year. That gravel that's been in there, and they just go down in there and get all them nooks and crannies. So, you know, it depends on how you look at it, but there's not really any big ones. They seem to eat them all. So, super cool. See this big guy right here? He's looking right now. He's like, where's a trumpet snail? I'm gonna eat him. Look at how big these Corys have gotten. They're doing awesome. Big chubby guys. All right, so let's start scaping. Now that we got all that done, we just want to kind of show you. There's all the cords. Those are the under gravel lights, which are taped to the bottom that give it the green color here and also here. And that is also on a separate light. That's on the clapper here. And the black lights, all three are on the clapper. So the clapper goes here, all into this. And then these other ones, of course, are on a remote. And then this black one here is the main white light that goes to the timer. So it's kind of complicated when you get it all together, but you set it up the way you want it. So as you can see here, we go 2 claps or snaps. Oops, I didn't do it loud enough. 2 claps to the green lantern one, and then 3 to the black lights, which you can't see right now because the lights are on, but we'll show you that later. So let's get the rest of it scaped inside. All right, we got the lids off. Jack's basically wiping the front and back of the lid just with a wet rag just to get some of the buildup and calcium and stuff. They're coming out real clean, right? Yeah. They weren't bad.
No, not horrible.
They weren't bad. What I did is I took these out. These were the actual glasses that were upside down with the pills inside of them. These are the little magnetic pills that we did the vortexes with. Again, we will definitely be revisiting that in the future, but for now, not exactly sure. There's one of the little super red guys climbing on that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically pull those out, and the gravel's just going to fill in around it. We're not loving these. We're going to just dump all of that gravel basically in that hole. In fact, I'll probably just dump it in there first, take this out. Anyway, that's all going to be filled in, and the big plants are going to go in front. These little guys were just little extra things that we kind of had. We're not going to continue to use them. We're going to take those out. As far as the penthouses, all I did was just take basically a wet rag and I just wiped them off. And look how clean they look already. They just basically had some water marks and things like that, splash marks, and they're totally clean. You can see right through them, crystal clear. So the snails and the plecos clean the inside. We haven't cleaned the outside since we put it up in about a year, and it was very easy to clean. Kind of wiped everything down here and all that, got the light off the back. So gotta get the plants in here now and some of these new lights. We did talk a little bit about that we got these new lights. These are the color changing lights that we got an amazing deal on PetFlow. We talked about that in the last video. So we are gonna be hooking those up and deciding how to make those because they had a deal on these for like only 99 cents a piece because they were on clearance. And we're gonna add a little red to this whole design, and these white guys, white parts on top, will actually change colors with those now. So we're gonna have so many lights in here, it's gonna be totally ridiculous at this point. All right, guys, so that did not take very long. Basically what Jack really wanted to do was take those 2 big ones and kind of envelope the green lantern light with them. So we've got the huge ones in the corners, the big ones in the back. And what we did is we took all these little red ones and kind of put them in the middle more concentrated. We put the little white glass ball in the actual dish. Kind of looks like a little reactor kind of situation in there with that green light shining up from the bottom. And then we got the other 2, and then these, and then we put one of the red ones back here. And then we kind of just took these other red ones and kind of put them across the front I really dig it. I can't wait to get the new lights on here. Just gonna start opening those, doing a whole unboxing type of situation. All the glass and everything is out because there's just no room in this tank for all of this. Those are the old plants that we're not really gonna keep. And we didn't want to put a lot of plants around this corner area because, you know, this glass and the lighting takes up room. We want to continue to have this room open. We've got the bamboo coming up the back there. It's leaning in because the lid actually holds it on. So when we put the lid back on, it's going to be it. So these are these little guys, right? They're quite small and quite expensive, but we're going to plug them in. We're going to find out how they work and everything. And basically what they do is they change colors. I think there's like a little control type of situation here. So they are able to change colors, and I think that they change automatically, but we're going to find out. We've never used these before. They're relatively new, actually, to the whole hobby. Jack's doing a delicate unboxing there, huh? They're relatively new, and they basically have ornaments that change colors when the lights change colors, but I think they're also black lights, and then they have these holders on them so you can clip them on to like the side of the tanks. Honestly, for us, we're probably just going to lay them across the top around this other black light, kind of like a V kind of situation or something, and put the cords right on the back. We're not going to need any of those, but again, we'll put links in the description, everything for PetFlow. But I'm totally digging this. I can't wait to see what it looks like with more of these lights going on here. So we're gonna clean up all this stuff, hook the new lights up, get the top back on, fill it up with water, wipe those down one more time, and we're pretty much done here. Okay, we're filling it back up. Look at these Danny are like swimming against the current. They're like coming at it. Some of these guys down here too, look at the Corey. He's like, cool, man, I like this current. Everybody's swimming against it. We decided to take this bush in the front and put it in the back. So there's 2 in the back, the 4 in the front here like this. We wanted to leave this open, and also wanted so you could see like that design in the middle of the splash and the ring and everything in front. So we changed that. So after we fill this up here, we get these lights going on here. Look at the Corys. All right, how do you think it looks all filled back up now, huh?
It looks nice and nude.
Yeah, super cool. I do like the red in the middle, super awesome. Wouldn't mind a little red on the sides over here, but the problem is we just don't want to, you know, clog that area up. Plus, the color changing lights are pretty much going to be concentrated in the middle. I do like that we moved, because I love how that looks in the middle, that glass sculpture, and you couldn't see with the red thing in front. I like that we moved them in the back, kind of gave it depth, so we got, you know, red underneath the sign and stuff. So I do like that we kind of opened this front up. Plus, that's where everybody hangs out. That's where the Corys run back and forth. And there, look at how big they're getting. They're just doing awesome. That's like their little area there in the front. So, all right, let's get these lights on. All right, so this is just a preliminary shot. Obviously, it's daylight right now, right, dude?
Yeah, so it's not going to get that same glow in the dark effect as nighttime.
Right. But with all the lights off in the room, and, you know, we don't have shades for everything, but we can kind of get an idea. This is no background light, no under gravel lights, just the black lighting. And what we did here is we just took these little strips, we stuck them right up the back on top here, and just laid them down. And they're on the 4th mode, so there's 4 different modes. One of the modes is black light, which of course we don't need because we already have black lights. And then it does like a blue, and then it does like a clear type of one. This is the color changing. So what it does here, if you kind of watch these white areas, is it goes through from a black light to a blue light to a violet light. It kind of changes color. And if you look see how the ends of these red ones just turn red? So first they look kind of red, and then they'll kind of turn purple, and then they'll kind of turn blue.
They're red, but they take up the leaves, or the, I don't know, what do you call it?
Right,
branches,
the ends,
they take
yeah.
up the light. But the actual stem of the plant
Stays red, right?
Stays red, but it'll turn from like neon orange to like maroon almost.
So same as these kind of like flower parts here.
Like
this all glows, but see how this is
the
changing?
tips will remain dark, and the inside changes.
So they're changing from like blue, and you can see that it's kind of slowly changing if you look at it. It's turning from like blue to green to like a white. So anyway, the camera isn't picking it up as good as it looks in person, but it is really like a neat effect. Again, these were rather expensive. We only got them because they were on sale. They are also small, but we kind of position them right over these guys. So primarily these little white glass knots, the tops of these little red plants, and kind of the tulips on these things are changing color very gradually and slightly. Again, what we will do is we will wait till the lights go off and kind of show this all again. And also how the green lantern ring totally glows at night when everything's completely off because it's made of glow-in-the-dark material. So when the timer on this main light turns off, and if we don't have these lights on, it completely glows, which is neat. Look at how much these glowfish are glowing underneath there, though. Even in the daylight with the top light off, especially these big, huge,
well, when their skin
long fin guys.
When their skin gets a lot of light, they take it in there.
Something else, isn't it? So hit the, let's do two snaps here. Let me open this up real quick, do 2 snaps. Just to kind of show. So that's when the green lantern thing is actually on. And you can see it drowns out.
That's good for a night light.
Yeah, it's good for a night light. So again, if we're sitting across the room and we want to see what it looks like, the black light, we can clap our hands or snap our fingers and it'll turn off. And then we could turn the, whatever. There's just so many different combinations at this point. But I think we're just going to leave those color changing lights on, those 2 guys right there, all the time. And the other ones we can kind of change. And then, of course, the big white light will be on a timer. But I do dig it. It really kind of, these guys are kind of out here. Gives the fish a lot of room to go up here into the penthouses and everything.
It's more foresty, They get more like forest areas.
Yeah, it's super cool. What we will do, guys, is we will wait until it gets dark, and we'll kind of go through this in the dark, complete darkness tonight, and just kind of put those at the end here, just so you can kind of see how everything looks. But the next step, the next video in this will most likely be, well, we're going to do a little follow-up because we got some special Cory food, like we talked about. So we're going to be doing a kind of like a test against algae wafers and these Cory wafers, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to be showing.
Cory's are bottom feeders, similar to plecos, but there's different components in the diet or the eatery that they.
Yeah, so the algae wafers they like already, we know that. Yeah. They like everything really. But these new Cory wafers we got are supposed to be really specifically for them, so we're going to see if they like them a lot better. And we talked a little bit about the fact that Glowfish started making electric green Glowfish Corys, so we may be adding some of those in here as well. So those are going to be a couple videos we have coming up, but also this is going to need trimming soon because it's going to be touching the ceiling if we don't trim it. What we're going to do is we're going to be drilling holes in the back of this lid and kind of showing how you can propagate this bamboo and sticking in the back there. That was something we did, of course, in that tank right there. Of course, we'll be doing follow-up on the Angel tank, but when we used to have the other tank here, we had holes all on the back with bamboo growing all out of those. We will be doing it to that tank as well, but basically what's going to happen is this bamboo will be trimmed as it continues to grow and added. We may even add some to the sides here. We don't want to block the penthouses too much, but ultimately all of those will root, and what we'll have on the top here, so we'll have all these bamboo roots kind of sticking down from the top, again, pulling more nitrates out of the water, purifying the water. And this will be, as we add more fish and add more plants, hopefully just a no maintenance tank, pretty much what it's been. So here we go, guys. We're going to see. Let's turn that off one more time. Actually, I'm just going to leave it on for now. We're going to come back when it's dark, and we're going to show what this really looks like under complete darkness at night. Can't wait to see it. I'm excited. Are you excited, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I mean, it's going to be cool. So we'll be right back with that. Okay, so now it's nighttime and we have all the lights off in the whole entire room in the house and everything. And we just kind of want to do an update. So this is what it looks like with just the top white light on, nothing else at all. And I'm really digging those middle plants, like those big green and blue ones. Those things, even under white light, they almost glow, don't they, dude?
Yeah, it's not so much like glow, it's more like bioluminescent.
Yeah, I mean, they're like fluorescent looking.
Radiation.
Plus, they're cool how they're like sharp. They look kind of alien-like and everything like that. So I really dig it. I think you were right to do the red ones this way. That way the whole front is open because the quarry's like going back and forth, and they're really fun, and the plecos.
They also have, hiding area here in that area and over there.
Yeah, they kind of go in and out.
And in here and in there.
Like you can see them down here, like you can see the plecos down here, and they kind of go in and out. We did feed them a couple hours ago, so they're kind of just going along the bottom, cleaning. Even some of the Danios are feeding off the bottom. Look at this little Danio. He's like, I'm not hanging out at the top with my buddies. I'm coming down here. So they're kind of going around and, fishing through the baby snails and the gravel. But anyway, so far, totally digging it. So next thing we're going to do is change some lights around. So we're going to pause it for a second. Now, this is the new Scape with the white lights and the under gravel lights. So with the under gravel lights now, as you can see, those glass kind of beams really light up and change colors that kind of hold up the penthouses. And we have it on auto, which means it's kind of going through all the colors. And the reason we did that is just so you guys can see all the colors. So it goes from like blue to purple, violet. It's kind of neat because even though the light in the middle, I'm going to really focus in on that one. Even though this light in the middle comes through, it's only going through the bottom of this vase. So the color is different than going through like all of those planes of glasses that are over here. So see how it's like a lot brighter even though it's like the same color, and then you've got that little white knot. Isn't that cool, dude?
Yeah, it's cool how there's like a common theme between, you have a little bit of the red, but that's just like a little touch on it. It's a common theme between the white and the green and a little bit of blue.
Yeah, like the new little red plants are cool, but when this changes like this, it's neat how it just reflects throughout the tank, the blue and then the purple. But this one in the middle, even though it's the same color, it doesn't absorb it as much as these levels do, and it really changes. So there's the color changing lights with the white lights. Now what we're going to do is turn the white lights off and just have the color changing under gravel lights. All right, so this is what the tank would look like at night if we had the overhead lights off and no black lighting or background lighting. This is just the under gravel lights. And one of the things that we noticed, if you look at the glowfish right about now, when the under gravel lights turn like purple and stuff, it almost still has that effect of the black light, doesn't it, dude? See how they glow when it turns, see the glowing goes away, and now watch when it comes around to the purple again, they almost glow like they do under the black light. See how they start glowing right now? Look at that.
Yeah, they're clear sometimes, and they just turn like the green.
Yeah, look at that.
Neon.
You don't even really need black lights. That's just really basically a purple LED light. But it's neat how this one in the middle, again, is so much brighter, just shining through one tiny little piece of glass as opposed to all these layers of glass. I really like how we did that, and I think it was a great idea to put the knot inside like that, like you said. So that really gives it a cool effect. You can see the plecos in there kind of swimming around that knot. Isn't that cool? Waving their long fins everywhere and stuff.
It'd be pretty cool if we could do that.
If we were luminescent.
Transparent, and then we just glowed, yeah.
When it hits that red for a second, too, it's really cool. Now, again, guys, we can change this color to any color we want, but we kind of put it on color changing just so you can see all the different things. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to actually turn these under gravel lights off, and we're going to put the new color changing black lights on that we put, those two little strips right there at the top. So let's do that now, see what that looks like. All right, guys, so these are the new LED black light color changing lights that we put on. And as you can see, even though we turn them on at exactly the same time, the timing is not perfect. Notice how that right one turns on a little bit earlier than the left one, dude?
Yeah, it's a bit delayed.
And I clicked it at exactly the same time. So that's definitely an issue for us a little bit. Maybe we could put one in the front, one in the back, as opposed to left and right. That might make it look not as awkward. The other issue we're having is it's supposed to change the colors of the white parts of these glow plants. And it kind of does. If you see when it comes down, I'm going to leave this on for a minute. So now they look kind of purple. And then like when they turn on in the beginning, it's hard to pick up on the camera, but they look kind of red right now. And then they kind of turn, it's almost like the camera doesn't pick it up. I'll try to really zoom in on it. You can see the red looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's bright.
It shows a lot.
Now, if you look at this real quick here, when it turns on, it's almost as if like they're all red, but the camera doesn't pick it up that well. So there is a little bit of a color changing thing. But honestly, our little cheap under gravel lights that we have on here change the colors of the white things way more than these do. So not totally loving the fact that the right and left aren't the same, and not totally loving the fact that it's not as much of a color change as we thought it would be. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna put them on black lights and then put all the other black lights on and just see what everything looks with straight up black lights. Because honestly, I think I would like that better. I'm not super impressed with these color changing bulbs, but by adding more black lights, it'll be cool. So let's just turn everything to black lights and see what that looks like. All right, guys, so that is all of the black lights on now. The 3 already existing black lights that are at the top of the penthouses, the dome in the middle, and then the 2 little new ones on the side. Definitely, in my opinion, I like this the best when it's just black lights. I don't think that those color changing bulbs honestly really do much, which is probably one of the reasons they were on sale. And that's fine, because quite honestly, the more black lights, the more these things are gonna glow. And there was a little bit of a gap kind of in between the dome and the 2 towers, so we kind of filled that in with those 2 little guys, and that's perfectly fine with me. Do you agree with that, or do you think that, and you think they're worth it, or?
I think yeah, I think they're good.
They're good just being on black. Yeah, I think so too.
They don't really show. It looks a little bit too messy with the other colors. I think it's fine with that.
I'm glad we got them really, really cheap, because they, in our opinion, they're not worth the money, because the color changing doesn't seem to do much. Now, again, if you look at these guys, these white guys look more purple under the green lights, just like the other white stuff does, just like the Green Lantern ring does. A lot of these albino fish or fish that aren't glowfish, everything pretty much just turns purple. Just like the core, let me pan over here to the Corys. All these guys just kind of turn purple. Now, let's go ahead. I don't have to pause it for this. I'm just gonna click the Green Lantern sign on. Just give that 2 little snaps. And so that is the Green Lantern light with the black light. Now that's pretty cool, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks good.
I really like how the 2 big new plants really envelope the Green Lantern sign there in the middle. I love how the ones right underneath it, like, see how the tips that are white turn green because of the Green Lantern light, but then the bottom of them still glow. Totally digging that. Totally digging that. Now let's go ahead and turn on the under gravel lights and have everything on at the same time and see what happens. All right, guys, now this is all of the top lights and the new lights on black, and we got the Green Lantern light on, and this is our under gravel color changing lights. And I actually, of course, think this is the best, because when those lights fade down in between colors, that's when everything glows from the black lights above. But unlike those 2 little new lights we got there on the sides, these color changing bulbs are much more vibrant, because they kind of, they radiate through the glass sculptures from the bottom. So look at that. I like, whoa, you see that when it turns red like that? That's cool.
It is neat.
So you've got the black lights, you've got the Green Lantern symbol green, and then you've got the red from the bottom. I almost think, let me let it come to red one more time. I almost think I'd like to leave it on red just to see. Here it comes again. Right after purple here, should get that flash of red. Yeah, look at that. Almost feel like we should leave it on red. That would look really cool because you got the black lights, you got the red, you got the Green Lantern thing. So anyway, there's a million combinations we could do here, guys. But as far as those two little new lights go up top, super honest, my honest opinion, totally not worth it. Maybe if you had a tiny little tank and you didn't have all these other lights and things, you might be able to mess around with them. Again, we bought these black light bulbs for $4 or $5 during Halloween last year when we put this tank together. Way less expensive than what those bulbs cost. And these glowfish, you know, are looking fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut off these main ones. Just see what that looks like. And that's just the tiny two little side ones there. Now that's cool, isn't it? Because they're so limited, they just give a little bit of accent. And then look how the ring glows, dude.
It's just, yeah, the only source of light, really.
So those two, and you know what? The camera doesn't pick it up, honestly, that much. When we just had these two little low ones on and not the big ones, it's almost like, it's actually really kind of neat because you just get the glow in the middle and then you get the ring. So I'm tempted to just leave those on all the time, just so the ring lights up. And then the other ones we can turn on and off if we want. And then the white ones, of course, are on timers. So yeah, I kind of dig that. Well, anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully, we will be getting a little bit more fish. Hopefully, some of those electric green cories. And they will fit in here really awesome. And thanks for watching and looking through all these combinations of lights with us. It's really an endless thing. I mean, we could probably do 1,000 different combinations with all these lights. And that's the idea, is to make this a really cool and unique tank. So next update on this will hopefully be the new cories, right, man?
Yep.
But we may do some updates in between, showing some of the new cory food and stuff we were talking about that we got. So we'll possibly show that. Let me turn this back on and just kind of end it with the Green Lantern symbol. That's kind of neat too when it's just by itself, isn't it? That is cool. So look how they all look at the camera, like looking through the light. So anyway, we'll be doing a follow-up with these cories. We'll be showing some new cory food we got because we never used it before. And then hopefully adding some of those new glowfish cory. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome day, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.